Okay, I think we'll get started. Good morning and welcome to 1 Judiciary Square. My name is Lee Smith. I serve as Director of DC's Department of Small and Local Business Development. I wanted to first welcome you guys on behalf of Mayor Adrian Fenty, who's very excited about this event being here and about this opportunity. As you know, we're here today to talk about FCC's rollout of their National Broadband Plan. Congress and the President has tasked FCC with rolling out a plan to get broadband service and connectivity out to more of the nation, and they have joined with Small Business Administration to talk about the plan in general, but more specifically for our purposes today, how we can get small businesses more involved in implementing the plan. Happy to be joined today by the Administrator of SBA, Karen Mills, also the Chairman of the FCC, Julius Genachowski. So without further ado, I'll bring up the Chairman, Mr. Genachowski, to take you through the program. Again, thank you on behalf of DC's Department of Small and Local Business Development.
Thanks, Mike. Thank you very much. Thank you to Lee Smith and your great team. Thank you for all the work that you do on behalf of local small businesses here in Washington, D.C. Thank you to all of you who are here and all of you who are participating via the web stream of this event. It is a particular privilege for me to be here today with Karen Mills, the Administrator of the Small Business Administration, who has been a strong national leader in promoting the interests of small businesses, such a vital engine for job creation and economic growth in the United States. I also want to welcome Todd Sharp, President of Engage, who will have some remarks today. Warren Brown, founder and owner of Cake Love and New Father. Two entrepreneurs with powerful stories about small businesses and unlimited opportunity. We have some guests here I wanted to acknowledge. Elizabeth Oliver Farrow, the former chair of the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, is here today. We welcome her. And before we get going, I want to give a particular thanks to the staffs of the SBA and the FCC who worked so hard on putting this event together. These things aren't easy to do, and they reflect a ton of substantive work. I'll just mention the FCC folks who I get to see every day, Tom Reed and Gilberto de Jesus from our Office of Communications Business Opportunities, and from our broadband plan, Roger Goldblatt, who I think did not sleep last night, Nick Maynard, Elena Berkowitz, and Dave Vorhaus, who I think have not slept for a month working on our broadband plan. Today we're here to focus on the vital role that broadband, high-speed internet access, can play in small business success. Let me set the stage. Last year, Congress and the President tasked the Federal Communications Commission with developing a national broadband plan, a strategic plan to bring affordable, high-speed broadband to all Americans. We'll deliver that plan in 2 weeks. Why the focus on broadband? Broadband is our generation's major infrastructure challenge. It's like roads, canals, railroads, telephones were for prior generations. In terms of transformative power, I think electricity is actually the most apt historical analog. Our electric grid was the platform for innovation that, as much as anything else, helped propel the United States to global economic leadership in the 20th century. Our broadband grid has the potential to play the same role for the 21st century. Electricity, as everyone knows, brought the country an unending array of new appliances: refrigerators, ovens, TVs, computers. Broadband brings innovation-fueled applications on the internet and on mobile phones for commerce, education, healthcare, and more. An app for that, you've heard of that, could have been the motto for America in the 20th century, too, if Madison Avenue had predated electricity. Broadband is critical infrastructure for innovation, for job creation, and for American competitiveness in this rapidly changing world. That's why Sam Palmisano, CEO of IBM, recently penned an op-ed titled, "Fix the Bridges, but Don't Forget Broadband." Studies from Brookings, MIT, the World Bank point us in the same direction. Even modest increases in broadband adoption can yield hundreds of thousands of new jobs. As we work to rebuild our economy, we must do it in a way that gives us a strong 21st century foundation for opportunity and prosperity. We need to pursue a 2020 broadband vision, one that unleashes new waves of investment and innovation and provides an enduring engine for job creation in the years ahead. And a central pillar in that plan must be small businesses. As a primary source of job creation in this country, small and medium businesses have created over 64% of all net new jobs, more than 14 million jobs over the past 15 years. Home-based entrepreneurs employed more than 13 million people in 2008. Over the last several years, about 650,000 new small businesses have been created annually. Small businesses are everywhere, in technology corridors and on Main Street. A dreamer at a high-tech startup works at a small business. A family farmer works at a small business. An ophthalmologist, a plumber, a real estate agent, a restaurant manager, a baker, a cupcake maker. They all work in small businesses and communities across the nation. No one would argue that you can be a tech entrepreneur without broadband. In the 21st century, without broadband, you can't maximize those Main Street small business opportunities either. During my first week as FCC chairman, I met a farmer in Erie, Pennsylvania, and it was an informative experience for me. He said that he grew up thinking, working as a farmer, believing that computers and connectivity had no relevance to him or his job at all. But here's what he said when I saw him. He said, today, farmers can't succeed without broadband, without real-time online access to weather forecasts, commodity pricing, crop information, and marketing opportunities for their products. One recent study put it this way: the degree to which farmers take advantage of the new economy will increasingly determine their competitive success. When it's available and harnessed, broadband can have a dramatic effect on small businesses. Take a business called Blue Valley Meats in the small town of Diller, Nebraska. It saw 40% growth and doubled its employees by setting up a website and selling its beef online, but only once Diller got broadband. We've seen small businesses seizing the same kinds of opportunities in urban areas, and broadband enables entrepreneurs from diverse backgrounds and communities to start, build, and own businesses. At our broadband hearings, for example, we heard from Ruth Livier, the founder of Ilse.com, which creates and distributes online video programming about a modern Latina making her way in contemporary America, and Jonathan Moore, founder of Rowdy Orbit, a growing online platform for professionally produced web content for minority audiences. Today, almost 1 million Americans earn part of their living by operating small businesses on platforms launched by eBay and Amazon, and websites like Etsy.com create specialized marketplaces for small businesses. Etsy focuses on entrepreneurs who make handmade items. It boasts more than 200,000 sellers. But here's the issue. While most small businesses have a broadband connection of some sort, access seriously lags in many areas, especially rural communities. One estimate indicates that 26% of rural business sites don't have access to a standard cable modem. 9% don't even have access to DSL. In larger cities, the problem is access to fatter, more robust professional pipes. Mobile broadband is vital to business operations as well, but too few small businesses use it today. About half of small businesses still don't take advantage of the opportunities and efficiencies of mobile broadband. Many small businesses that do have broadband access have concerns about their broadband speeds, price, and choice. Our broadband team also found that many small businesses don't have the information or skills they need to seize the broadband opportunity. The result is that only about a quarter of small businesses that have websites are taking advantage of e-commerce, and even fewer use key online applications that can drive revenue and productivity, from marketing services to workflow automation to online video conferencing. And this is a key point. When small businesses use broadband, it's a double win. Affordable high-speed broadband enables small businesses to increase revenue by reaching a larger market and to reduce costs through cloud-based efficiency tools. More profit, more jobs created. An array of companies, internet service providers, and companies on the edge are investing in technologies and services to bring better broadband to small businesses. We want to see that investment maximized throughout the broadband ecosystem. The FCC held a productive field hearing in December in Chicago, specifically focused on learning from small businesses about their experiences with technology and their aspirations for our National Broadband Plan. We listened carefully at that hearing, and we certainly listened carefully to the advice of the SBA, which participated in our broadband proceeding. In fact, it participated specifically in that hearing, and thank you, Administrator Mills, for that. The SBA has encouraged the Commission to, quote, work with small and competitive broadband providers to develop new ideas that will shape our National Broadband Plan in a way that expands competition in the market for broadband service. Competitive providers can bridge the gap and increase overall availability of broadband services and applications in unserved and underserved areas in rural and urban centers, unquote. Thanks to the input we've received, the National Broadband Plan will include recommendations to encourage investment in our broadband infrastructure by fostering innovation and competition in networks, devices, and applications, ensuring that government policies and assets are deployed to cut through red tape, lower the cost of investment, and increase inclusion, and optimizing the use of broadband to achieve national priorities like job creation and small business development. All of this will benefit small businesses, but the plan won't stop there. The plan will put forward strategies and initiatives to empower small businesses across America to connect and compete with their counterparts anywhere in the world. The plan will recognize the need for tools and training to enable small businesses to seize the opportunity of broadband. It will recognize that in the 21st century, digital literacy is a business requirement. Just a few brief examples of what you can expect to see in the broadband plan. As the SBA suggested, the plan will recommend that the Commission review its competition rules to make sure that small businesses benefit from robust and healthy competition in the marketplace. The plan will recommend funding initiatives through the SBA to sponsor training in IT and broadband applications for small businesses. Small Business Development Centers, SBDCs, and Women's Business Centers, WBCs, are key conduits for this training. The plan will recommend increasing the capabilities of these centers to reach more small businesses with technology, training, and expertise. And by using virtual training mechanisms, taking advantage of broadband, we can reduce the in-office burden on SBDCs and WBCs to free up those local resources for companies that lack access to broadband. The plan will seek to augment entrepreneurial mentoring through organizations such as the SBA and the Economic Development Administration. The SBA and the EDA are working aggressively on developing new programs that foster entrepreneurial development across the country, particularly in those regions that are not currently innovation hotbeds. These efforts can be enhanced through proper broadband connectivity and tools. The plan recommends expanding this effort with funding for 10 new pilots while connecting these programs with broadband and online collaboration tools to ensure expertise and best practices are shared nationally. Together with our national broadband effort, the FCC's Office of Communications Business Opportunities, led by Director Tom Reed, who is here today, is central to the Commission's mission to support and encourage the development of small and diverse businesses in the telecommunications industry. It coordinates, evaluates, and recommends to the Commission policies and programs that promote participation by small entities, women, and minorities in the communications industry. OCPO has been increasingly working with its counterparts at the SBA, and we encourage that kind of ongoing interagency, productive, and efficient cooperation. Our OCPO has been active in assisting the Commission's development of the National Broadband Plan, gathering information and developing solutions. OCPO hosted a workshop on broadband opportunities for small and disadvantaged businesses, coordinated a capitalization strategies workshop for small and diverse telecommunications businesses. This workshop provided entrepreneurs with a nuts and bolts understanding of the steps necessary to obtain public or private sector financing. It was a success, and we will repeat it in the future. OCPO also coordinated one-on-one sessions between finance and capital experts and a number of small business participants. This was also a first for the Commission. It was widely praised by the participants as productive and will also be repeated. Finally, a key element of the National Broadband Plan's recommendations will be to foster the development of a public-private partnership for small businesses, something we're working on very closely with the SBA. The goal of this partnership would be to create a comprehensive solution that includes digital literacy and computer training, assistance with business-relevant applications, and support to the smallest businesses in the country's neediest areas. The public-private partnership is being designed to provide easy access to these tools through a proven program that already reaches many small businesses. It will also arm these businesses with the expertise and training necessary to maximize the utility of their broadband connection. To do this, private partners would contribute services, applications, training, educational content, counseling, and funding to small businesses that will be distributed by existing government small business programs. This particular initiative would focus on small businesses in low-income areas that need to increase their skill set with basic digital literacy tools, web usage, e-commerce, and online communications. The targeted partners would be the most important players in the technology industry that can help small businesses from the hardware, software, professional services, and online services sectors. We're excited about this initiative. We think it has a chance to provide real benefit and opportunity to small businesses and increasing access and use of broadband. In 2 weeks, we'll deliver the National Broadband Plan. I couldn't be prouder of our team at the FCC that has worked so hard on this, working literally day and night to produce a bold, far-reaching plan to ensure we have world-leading broadband infrastructure in the U.S. and deliver those benefits to all Americans. If we get it right, and with the help of national leaders like Karen Mills, broadband can be an enduring engine for creating jobs and growing our economy, for spreading knowledge and enhancing civic engagement, for advancing a healthier, sustainable way of life. We are anxious to get our broadband plan out. We appreciate the focus today on small business, and it is a real privilege for me now to introduce our next speaker, Karen Mills. Just a few words about Karen without embarrassing her. As administrator of the SBA, Karen Mills leads a team of thousands of employees and partners across the country. Her team helps entrepreneurs and small business owners create jobs, increase America's competitiveness, and drive our economy. I know from personal experience that she knows what it takes to help small businesses grow and create jobs. During the recession of the early 90s, Karen Mills helped several small manufacturers increase efficiency, increase competitiveness, and ultimately survive in a tough economy. In these tough economic times, her team at the SBA is helping do that again. Under her leadership, the agency is helping increase the number of SBA loans for deserving small businesses who can't find credit elsewhere. They're also working to increase the percentage of federal contracts that go to small businesses, especially those owned by women, minorities, and veterans. Karen Mills understands that small business is where we find the most innovative American products and services that will continue to create jobs, increase our global competitiveness, and rebuild our nation's economy. Please help me welcome a leader for America's small business community, SBA Administrator Karen Mills.
Well, I am absolutely delighted to be here. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Julius, and all of you who work so hard with us at the FCC on this small business piece of the National Broadband Plan. It's been a terrific collaboration, and we look forward to continuing it over the next years, because broadband access is critical to small business success. Small businesses, as Julius said, create 65% of the net jobs in this country, and half of the people who work own or work for a small business. So if we are going to come out of this recession and create jobs, and if we're going to be competitive in the long term, we have to give small businesses the tools they need, like access to broadband, in order to make sure that they can grow and prosper. They need two things, though. Not just access to broadband, that's the first thing, but they also need, as the chairman said, the tools and the training to make the most of this new asset and infrastructure. A year ago, on the access issue, the president said when he rolled out the broadband plan, he said, we need to expand broadband lines across America so that small businesses in a rural town like the farmer can connect and compete with their counterparts around the world. Already we've come a long way. About 95% of small businesses have access to something, some form of broadband. Most of it is consumer-grade connections, and as we've learned, it's much spottier in the rural areas. We need every small business, including those in rural Americas, including those in underserved areas, to be able to use broadband in their daily operations and to find new markets here and abroad. So we're delighted that the FCC is going to roll out this plan. It has the potential to drive down costs and to increase access for small business. So driving down cost and increasing access is what we're after, because these small businesses are already strapped for cash in these difficult times. And they're always tight for cash, as our two small businesses can attest. Right now, though, small businesses are paying over twice as much per employee as large businesses for broadband access. And this is why we need people like Todd Sharp that you're going to hear from. He's one of the growing number of small businesses whose customers are small businesses too. He's actually in one of our programs we call Hub Zone, which is a development program for access to contracts. So I'm going to brag about him for a bit. He helps small businesses who know that they need broadband applications, but they can't afford all the upfront costs and the technologies and the investments in hardware and software. And very often small business owners don't have the time to manage all of this. So he's going to share a story or two of how he's operating and how that's benefiting small businesses. It's the second piece, besides access, though, is how important broadband is going to be for improving the operations of small businesses. And as Julius says, there's really two components to this: increasing the revenues and reducing the operating costs. The good news is that 75% of small businesses already have a website, but most of them, only 31%, most of them don't use it for e-commerce. So my favorite is Penobscot Bay Porch Swings in my hometown in Brunswick, Maine. Sells these beautiful porch swings made from old designs, from 100 years ago, from up in Maine. Sells them all across the world, and they've got a great website with beautiful pictures, but you have to call them up to make an order. They need access to the ability to do e-commerce easily. Now, how are we going to bridge the gap for Sarah Bloy, who runs this, to be more digitally literate? The way we're going to do that is we're going to use our bone structure at the SBA and others across the country in order to train the trainers, train our counselors to help small businesses every day. We have at the SBA over 14,000 counselors. We have 900 small business development centers. We have 100 women's business centers. We have veteran centers. We have a special effort on Native Americans, many things in underserved communities. We have 350 chapters of mentors, retired executives called SCORE. And the best part of this is this counseling is free. So I tell all the small business owners, if you don't have a long-term counselor, you should get one, because our data shows that they make better sales. Small businesses that have a counselor have better sales, more longevity, more profits. And one of the ways that we're going to enhance that is we're going to do public-private partnerships to make sure that all of these resources have the ability to help small businesses make the most of broadband access. So that means getting them training materials on e-commerce, Web 2.0, search optimization, cybersecurity, and lots more. The second thing besides the e-commerce part, though, is helping them with their internal operations and cost reductions. We have a number of examples of how this is already working. There's an IT firm here called Trusted Mission Solutions right here in D.C., and it uses contracts with the federal government, but it uses broadband to automate a workflow tool so that customers can track all their deliverables in process real time. We're doing this also at the SBA. We know how important it is for people to be able to get on a portal and see where they are in a queue. and know when they're going to get their product or their service. Lakeshore Engineering in Detroit moved into a new building, told us they did this whole voice over IP phones. So they are now connected all over the world. My other favorite is in Oklahoma City. There's a contractor, does construction, and they need to have this broadband technology because their customers require specialized software for integrating the project, and they need to be able to communicate real time. This is also true of the boat builders that I'm very close to on the islands of Maine who can't get broadband service right now because they're in too remote a rural area, and they have to send large files with blueprints back and forth, and the pipe just isn't big enough. For all of these companies, we need to have access to affordable broadband solutions, and we are very delighted that we are going to be working with the FCC and the chairman's plan as it is rolled out in order to deliver this critical foundation, these critical tools to small businesses so that they can go on and be the foundation of growth, job creation, and prosperity here in America. Thank you very much, and we look forward to the partnership.
Thank you very much. Let me briefly introduce the man who's already been introduced, so I'm happy to echo Karen Mills' wonderful introduction of Todd Sharp, president of Engage. Todd Sharp is an entrepreneur who knows firsthand the power of small businesses. His company focuses on helping other businesses optimize the use of technology to better compete in the marketplace. And Todd knows firsthand, and maybe you'll have a chance to talk a little bit about the efficiencies that can be achieved for small businesses in marketing, inventory, payroll, and management that would not be possible without broadband. So Todd Sharp, thank you for coming. We're delighted that you could be with us this morning.
Thank you very much to Chairman and Administrator Mills for inviting me up to say a few words about small business and technology and the importance of the National Broadband Plan that is ahead of our country's agenda today. I'm truly humbled to have the opportunity to sit before you and share a little bit about our company. We're truly a small business success story, and we're growing day by day. I also want to share why that we believe the National Broadband Initiative is so important to other businesses such as ours and our customers continuing to grow through these difficult economic times. I believe this initiative is fundamental to America and how we compete. The program expands upon our nation's commercial strengths, facilitating innovation for small and rural businesses by broadening access to broadband and virtual infrastructure, doing so in a way that adds to our nation's competitiveness. We believe supporting this program is in line with our company's values and those of our country. The lifeblood of our nation's economy lies in small business. Some of the statistics that were shared by the speakers before me indicate that small businesses create the lion's share of new jobs and serve as the incubators of innovation. This program provides the additional incentives for those businesses to adopt more than simply bandwidth, but meaningful commerce and communications applications that will add true value to their daily operations. Our company itself is a small business, as Administrator Mills noted, a certified hub zone business, which is for businesses which are located and have employees living in underdeveloped economic zones across the United States. Without broadband, our company couldn't function. We have people living in rural areas who telecommute. We have a weather situation in our headquarters in Atlanta, Georgia the other day with a winter storm warning, and all of our people were able to work from home as effectively as they could if they were in the office. The promise of broadband in that metropolitan area and a legacy left over from the 1996 Olympics and the digital infrastructure it brought enabled us to not feel any kind of economic impact by the weather that was passing through. As such, we not only understand but feel daily the challenges facing our nation's economy, as we have small business customers that are struggling to do more with less, struggling to find the way to reach a new market, or struggling to find the way to make payroll just for that extra month. As a small business focused for the last decade on helping other businesses gain a competitive advantage through the appropriate use of technology, this initiative is in line again with our corporate mission and core values. I can't imagine sitting on the sidelines when something as important as this is emerging in our nation's dialogue. Our nation's technical infrastructure needs to have a lack of barriers to superior business technology that have been caused solely by the state of the current economic situation. We believe this program will assist small businesses and rural communities to access the technology they need to be successful. Our company is also dedicated to open systems, open information, sharing and integration. It's core to our company's mission statement to aid as many businesses as possible, and we believe that open information creates open opportunities. Working with large technology partners such as Microsoft and small technology partners such as independent software vendors, in 2009, we decided to first release a piece of our company's own software at no cost to the community. Carrying our small businesses' knowledge across the globe, opening it up to businesses everywhere as a plug-in to another package. From that lesson, we have learned that releasing innovation using the broadband at our disposal can create greater opportunities. As such, as part of this program and our participation in it, we are going to be releasing some of our company's additional packages without licensing fees to participants in this program. Some of our company's DNA donated as part of this initiative to help businesses do better, creating a superior competitive advantage, it is hoped, based upon the broadband investments they are making or will shortly make through the benefits of this program. In summary, we view this as a tremendous opportunity to help provide small businesses in every corner of this nation, in some small way, an additional foothold needed to further realize their own potential. Our company has employees in urban centers like Atlanta, Georgia, and rural communities like northern Michigan. Engage has customers who are leveraging our nation's broadband infrastructure each and every day in new and beneficial ways. Organizations like the Chickasaw Nation, who are using their connectivity to provide opportunities for personal growth and community enrichment, and small businesses like All South Incorporated, who are growing and learning how technologies such as hosted communications and email can best benefit them and their customers firsthand. We have seen firsthand the strengths that individuals from different backgrounds and different communities can provide to a company and to a community. It is our belief that American businesses should not be held back because of where they're located or what size they may have. Thank you again for the opportunity to partner with the FCC and the SBA in this effort to close the digital divide for small and rural businesses. We are honored and humbled to be standing up here and look forward to the broadband initiative moving forward. Thank you.
Thank you for those excellent remarks. Let me now introduce Warren Brown, the founder and owner of Cake Love, and as I mentioned, a tired man and new father. I don't want to sugarcoat this introduction too much. I'll butter it up a bit if he's brought some free This is what happens when you write intros after Jon Stewart. It's a bad idea. Warren Brown is an attorney who left the practice of healthcare litigation to pursue his culinary passion. In 2000, Warren Brown opened a small storefront bakery here in Washington, D.C. in the U Street corridor, a then struggling neighborhood that, thanks to such anchors as Cake Love, has undergone a rebirth and a renaissance. Today, Cake Love has grown to 7 stores in the Washington region and Baltimore, employing many people. Warren Brown will share how he has taken his traditional bakery business and hotwired it with broadband to revolutionize his operation. Warren Brown's business has gone from regional to national to international, only possible with high-speed internet communications. Thanks to broadband, his prized confections are known and shipped around the world. We're very pleased, Warren, that you were able to come here this morning and participate in the launch of our plan.
Thank you very much. Good morning, and thank you, Chairman and Administrator Mills. It's a pleasure to be here, and a pleasure to address this group and everyone on the web about broadband and how it works for Cake Love and what we do with it. Up there's a slide of a program that we have. It's in the works. A friend of mine and who I am really pleased to work with is developing for Cake Love a mobile app. So we are right now working on the next move, the next generation of using broadband in our mission, which I really think is what Cake Love is all about, is baking from scratch. We want to do that and lead by example by making cakes and cupcakes for our customers. But we also want to share with people our recipes, our software, if you will, about how you can get into the kitchen, how you can make the best use of your time on your budget or, for your family, and you can bake from scratch at home. My whole personal view is that, if you can get into the kitchen and actually make something, and if it's going to take sweets to get started, that's fine, because you'll then move into other things that will be better for your health, better for your waist, better for your pocketbook, better for everything, really, because you spend time with your family. So our mission at Cake Club is to bake from scratch. And we want people to do that in any number of ways, whether they're our customers and we get better access to them by marketing. And the main tool that we do that with is our internet connection and broadband. Right? We use our website a lot, and I could talk to you till I'm blue in the face about how we've developed tools on our website that our customers utilize to better to get access to our products. We spent the better part of last year, 2008, 2009, developing and refining an online store that has been a tremendous asset for me and for Cake Club. It allows people to go online and shop and click and buy. It sounds simple, but it was a little complex because there wasn't an off-the-shelf product for us just to buy. So we had to contract with at least two different programmers who weren't local, so we were communicating with them through the internet. They were developing this software for us, and it's allowed us to reduce a lot of time and just administrative stuff inside the store because the phone isn't ringing as much. So my staff is freed up to do the different things they need to do to serve the customers who are coming in. Orders come in via online. They just print out from our fax machine. We post it on the board, and we go. We would love to have eliminated paper, in terms of any order tickets, but it's just not possible in the bakery. You got to have something physical to track the whole sale. So developing our online store has been one of the ways that we've taken advantage of the fact that broadband is available to us in the Washington, D.C. area, and it really has helped to make life easier and make the sale and make the whole experience for the customer a little more dynamic and just more interesting, frankly. We use broadband in a lot of different ways, and I saw my life got easier as DSL or high-speed internet connections became available a couple years ago in the Washington, D.C. area. This is where we're based. This is where we run all of our administrative operations, HR, payroll, health benefits, and just bill paying. So in terms of seeing time come back to me, because I wasn't having to deal with either a dial-up connection to process payroll, or I wasn't having to sit there and stuff envelopes with checks before all the bills we have to pay, the broadband connection just saved my life in that way. And if a small business owner is out there and they're thinking to myself, well, how am I going to get more time so I can do different things in my business, spend time with my family, actually have a life that's outside of just chained behind the desk, broadband connection really makes it happen. And I think that that's something that we take for granted, but that's really, for me, one of the ways that it's just been instrumental in helping me develop the business and spend more time with my staff, to train them, to communicate to them what message I need them to say to our customers so we can continue to grow the business. So having the ability for me to just do the administrative tasks with broadband that's in my home office or it's in my storefront so that my staff can get online and upload the different information I need to look at to process different bills and different paperwork, that broadband connection is key. And I think that any small business owner that's out there, whether it's in rural communities or underserved areas, they need to have that connection too. Because if they can't, they're spending time, and it's just not necessary in this day and age because we have the technology to actually help facilitate their growth of their business. That's something I think would be very important. It really just came through for me in a very big way. Cloud computing is something that we rely on definitely. We have a lot of our data, a lot of our recipes and our sales and just information, digital information too, just graphic assets and pictures that we need to transmit to lots of different people, whether it's media requests or get it inside of a store, send it over to a printer. We have to have some place, and it's really worked out well, to have it just stored on a server in the cloud that different people can access, so we don't have to spend time sending it, uploading it. Oh, did you get the email? Oh, I got to send this again, send you a diskette or DVD. We don't have to deal with any of that now. We give them a username, we give them a passcode, they go in, they grab it, they do what they need to do. Very simple like that. So the cloud computing, having a server that's in some farm, some place that we don't know where it is, but it's available to us to give people the access to get the information they need, really is very helpful. So a small business owner, I think, is going to be benefited from being able to get into that, that aspect of the internet. Social marketing is something that's really been interesting. For me, like last year this time, I would have said to you, like, oh, I don't want to deal with Facebook at all, right? I've kind of gotten into it. I guess I've turned the corner a little bit. It takes a lot of time out of my day, and I'm sure everybody out here is just like, oh, Facebook's great, except for when you got to reply to all those emails and messages and stuff. But Twitter and Facebook and all other different social networks and whatnot, they're really helpful because that's where people are. And a business like mine has to pay attention to where the people are. Any business has to pay attention to where that is. That's just where you want to go, where the people are, right? And being able to communicate with them, just to tell them what's up. Just tell them, here's the new latest thing, here's what we're doing, or here's a special. You can basically get $2 if you spend $1. You buy this coupon, bring it into the shop, and it's available for 24 hours. What kind of response we get with that? We've had tremendous response with those things. And it's a great way to get an additional revenue stream for the business that we wouldn't have had otherwise, So going through the social networks and social websites and all that stuff helps my business because the people who are there, maybe they're a little more savvy, maybe they tend to shop a little bit more. They probably already heard of K-Club because we're very digital reliant. And it just is a great way for me to leverage what I'm doing in the store and push it out there to a place where people are looking for the new and happening, the latest thing. So it's been really helpful. I didn't think that, and I resisted, going onto Facebook and doing all that work. I resisted it for a while, but I'm a believer and a convert, and making it available for other small businesses will be very helpful. One thing that we just noticed is that, everything is going towards, broadband, internet-based. And if we don't use it and work with it, we'll get eclipsed, right? So we have to make sure that we are staying up to date on what other bakeries are doing or other businesses are doing in order to market themselves, in order to operate their business with lower costs, because that's just what everybody else is doing, and it's just about competition. Mobile apps, so let me get to this, and this is, again, getting back to that whole mission of what we're all about, baking from scratch. And this is in a test phase, or not test phase, development phase. It should be out by May or so. I have a new book that's coming out at the same time, United Cakes of America, recipes from every state, right? So, because we want people to bake, and we want to be able to celebrate all the baking that's going on. These are cakes that you want to eat, you just want to sink your teeth into. So we have different cakes at K-Club, as you can see in the second slide, lots of different things, and we want to be able to share some of those recipes, not all of them, but some of them. And if you do want to buy something like that slice of cake or the whole cake that slice represents, and you can be able to do that through our mobile app. You'll also be able to, though, at the last slide, find recipes. And those recipes will be something that we share from K-Club, we develop a K-Club, or that we are taking from the cake community and putting out there and saying, here's something that somebody else wants to share. We want them to allow you to take a picture of your own item and send it up there on our little community center so that people can see what other people have baked and, kind of have a way to troubleshoot if you've had problems with baking. And, all those different things will be there on this mobile app. And it gives us a way for people to kind of go from just playing around on their phone or whatever their device is to our website automatically. They can then make a purchase on our website if they need to, or just find out what's going on the latest in the world of cakes and cupcakes, because it's such a critical part of life. So the mobile app is something that's available because someone out there, a small business owner, has said, hey, let's develop this new software, Zaply, right? And let's then see if we can find small businesses that need to leverage what their current assets are and put them on a mobile broadband. That's cake love, right? So I'm working with a friend of mine, Brian Mon, who's developing this over in Seattle. He's then going to make it available to this businesses based in Washington, D.C., but then it's going to give us the ability, more ability, to market all across the country and wherever the broadband mobile networks are. So we want them to be everywhere. And we want that because not just for the small business person to be able to post things up on the internet and the web, but we want the customers to be able to get these things. You know, I mean, broadband doesn't mean that much for me if I can't, you know, make it available to John Doe or Jane Smith that's at the farthest ends of the internet. So I want all those people, all those individuals who aren't necessarily themselves business people, but they're potential customers. I want them to be able to access the internet through broadband so that they can have that fun experience. So just in closing, broadband is a big part of Cake Love. You know, we're not just baking cakes, we're I guess making digital ideas, and we're having a lot of fun doing it, but the fun is a little easier when the work is less hassle, less stress, and less time consuming, and broadband is really the key to making that happen. So thank you very much. Everyone enjoy your day.
Well, thank you very much. I thought we heard in those two presentations some very vivid explanations of why this initiative of broadband and small businesses is so important. The efficiencies, the training that Todd talked about, Warren's point about you got to go to where your customers are, and the customers are online, and they're on phones, and we need to work hard to make sure that all small businesses have access to the networks to reach those customers and have access to the training and tools so they can take advantage of these opportunities. I'm particularly happy that you emphasized the mobile piece. A lot of people, when they think about the National Broadband Plan, think that, oh, well, this is a plan to make sure that everyone can have access to wires into their computers and have fast broadband speeds that way. That's a very, very important part of what we're doing. But what we've realized over the course of this initiative is that mobile broadband is as important, in part because that's where the customers are and because there are all sorts of uses for mobile broadband. Here's one of the issues that we found at the FCC. For Warren to be able to do that on his smartphone and to have lots of customers doing it, and as you put up videos of cakes and people baking, all of that is putting tremendous pressure on our mobile broadband networks. And it's why one of the core initiatives of our National Broadband Plan is to recover spectrum for mobile broadband so that we can unleash it for these uses, for small and large businesses, and lead the world in mobile. It's an example of how some of the broader initiatives in our plan will help small businesses as well. We're going to set dramatic, bold goals for the country as part of our 2020 vision, a goal that we have the largest market in the world for high-speed broadband by 2020, 100 megabits or more to 100 million households. We're going to set goals around making sure that every community by 2020 has a 1 gigabit connection at an anchor institution like a school or a library or a healthcare facility. We're going to tackle the adoption issue. Right now, 65% of Americans have used broadband where they can. That number is even lower in particular demographics, low-income communities, minority communities, rural communities. We're going to set a goal of 90% adoption by 2020. It took 30 years to go from about 60% adoption to about 90% adoption in telephones. We're going to aim to do that in 10 years around broadband. And we have a set of initiatives to drive us toward that end. We've talked about some small business initiatives today. We talked about unleashing spectrum. We're going to transform, update 20th century communications policies and funds to support broadband, like our Universal Service Fund. We're working to lower the costs of investment in infrastructure so that companies can build out networks faster and deeper. We're working to promote competition, and we're working to on a series of strategies to tackle this challenging but important digital literacy issue. So with that, let me thank again Administrator Mills, Todd, Warren. We really appreciate this, and we have a little bit of time for some questions if there are any. And if there aren't any, that's okay too. I'll give you 1 minute to think about a question, and if not, I would just thank everyone again. This is a good day. Oh, sorry, we have a question. Go ahead.
How do you deploy a network to support all of broadband to these areas that you're describing? I mean, what the infrastructure is not there, so what would be the plan for FCC in that regard?
The question was, how will the FCC make sure that the infrastructure gets deployed for broadband? One of the key challenges is getting broadband to rural areas where the economics make it difficult for companies to build out. One of the core initiatives there will be to transform a program that has worked well to get telephone service everywhere in America. It's called our Universal Service Fund. It's about $8 billion a year. It still supports basic telephone service. As part of this plan, we're going to start moving that to support broadband to accelerate deployment to rural areas. With respect to urban areas, we have a series of initiatives to encourage upgrades in networks there. In urban areas, some of the larger issues tend to be affordability and adoption. We have initiatives on that. And of course, I mentioned building out our next generation mobile broadband infrastructure is a huge initiative, and that's something that we're going to work on by recovering spectrum, putting it on the market, and for both wired and wireless, finding ways to lower the cost of investment, cutting through red tape, and enabling companies that build out the networks to do it faster and deeper. Any other questions? Please.
Yes, I just want to be sure that I heard you correctly, that you're saying 1 gigabit to anchor institutions by 2020?
That's the goal.
Great.
Please.
Good morning. My name is Rosemary Segero. I'm the president for Segero's International Group. My business is coffee, is in export and imports, and I focus on coffee and tea, which is actually imported from other countries like Kenya and other countries in Africa and around the world. How long do you think the broadband is going to go internationally to feed the market?
It's a very good question. Countries around the world are focusing on broadband. I see that when I talk to my counterparts in other countries. They're not standing still. They see the opportunity. It's one of the reasons why it's so important here that we take this seriously, because it's a global competitiveness issue for the United States. Internationally, it depends a little bit on different parts of the world. You mentioned Kenya, which is doing some very interesting things in rolling out its mobile networks. In countries like Kenya, it'll be a little bit slower to build out high-speed wired networks. But I will tell you that there's a lot of activity around the world to seize the opportunity of broadband, and I hope that's a spur for us here in the United States to take our game to the next level and make sure that we have world-leading broadband infrastructure here.
We actually have a question from the web as well.
Oh, great.
So Erin Kess says, where can I find out more about broadband help for small businesses? I think that might be for the Small Business Administrator.
Sure.
Sure.
Did you hear the question?
Where you can find out more help?
Please. Yeah.
Yes, as we roll this out, I think the best place is actually on our website, which is sba.gov. And we will be working together to see how we can address questions and direct you also to our small business technical development centers, of which we have a number across the country, in order to be able to get this thing rolling as soon as we start the sort of train the trainer activity. So sba.gov.
Terrific. Thanks.
Last question.
Last question. Go ahead, please.
Hi, good afternoon. The question that I have is about broadband security. With all this great innovation that's happening, this is directed to the small business owners that are presented today as well as the FCC. How does broadband security weigh in on the platform for as you're innovating from the business owner perspective and then from the platform of the FCC speaking to the businesses and developing their innovation?
It's a great question. The question is, what role does broadband online security play for small businesses in thinking about taking advantage of the opportunities? And we will address some of these issues in the broadband plan. It's essential for broadband, in order to play the role we want it to play, that it be a network that is both open to entrepreneurs, open and easy for entrepreneurs to reach an audience, and that it be a safe place to do business. And that businesses and customers can feel confident that it's a safe, well-lit place. There obviously have been tremendous advances in security. Banking occurs online. Other sensitive transactions occur online. There's also no question that we face new threats every day. Some of the issues will be educational, helping small businesses and consumers understand some of the ABCs of how to protect sensitive information. Some of the damaging things that happen on the internet really are easily avoidable by following the basic advice about passwords, about not clicking on certain kinds of emails. And I think it's a good question, and I think based on this question, I would say that one of the things that the FCC and SBA will work on together as part of our joint project is how to get information to small businesses about how to best protect themselves, how to best protect the security of their information when they go online. There is a lot of good information, and I think we can help spread that. So thank you very much. Thanks again to our speakers, and thank you all very much for coming. Slower to build out high-speed wired networks, but I will